Hey, what's up? Tim Cant here. And in this video, we're going to take a quick look at my latest release, which is Grifters / A Mode of Expression on Jazz Sticks. Big up Paul SG. This is a kind of contemporary jazzy liquid DnB release. And I know I've had loads of releases out very recently, but I don't make tunes that quickly, and a lot of these tunes have been stuff that is finished from like 2021. I think this tune's from like 2023 or whatever. And it always happens that everything will always come out bunched up together. But hey, that's just show business, baby. So this tune is Grifters, and this tune is the name of the tune is partially inspired by the sample I used in the tune. Also partially inspired by my little brother, who, don't get it wrong, is a stand-up guy, but he's always looking for an angle or whatever. And this is a kind of I wanted this to be a kind of cool, slinky, jazzy tune or whatever. I wanted it to be kind of like not kind of that atmospheric DnB style or whatever, because I've done a lot of that stuff. So, I wanted to do something really, really jazzy and not kind of, I tend to use a lot of like really like ravey kind of break beats or whatever, like fast-paced break beats or whatever. And I wanted this one to be just like a little bit more kind of chilled out and funky. So, I probably mucked about with loads and loads of different break beats in the creation of this tune. But the main one we have here is BP3. I've taken this from the Breakpoint library, and I believe this is Sly and the Family Stone Sing a Simple Song. Yes, it is. So this is real simple. It's just, in fact, so with Sing a Simple Song, like you'll hear Sing a Simple Song samples, which have got kind of like little tiny bits of like brassy reverb or some kind of stuff on there that you don't really want. But at the end of the sample, there's just the break on its own, if you get the right sample. So I've literally just looped up that one bar where it doesn't have any kind of instrumentation stuff on top of it. Also, you can see I've used Cable Guy's Shaper Box 2 here, just to cut down the level of the snares, whatever. You can see I've done that, and then I've dulled it in with a mix of 61%. I guess because like the other snare, I've used one shots in this track to get kind of a modern contemporary sound or whatever. So we're just cutting out a little bit of the snares there. It's a lot louder if you take this off. So I'm just taming those a little bit. Then we've monoized it. We've got some transient shaping on there, of course. Nothing too wild there. EQ, this isn't going to be interesting. No, it's not. Oh, wow, look though. I've really taken off loads of the low ends here, really, with a low pass filter and a low shelf. So we're leaving really a lot of room for the one shots. So let's check out these one shots. First, we've got a kick. What's this? It's from Vengeance Essential House 3. Let's listen to that. Just a nice, clean kick. Nothing too interesting going on here. And then we've got snares. It looks like I've got 4 layered snares. Is that really right? Let's take a listen. That's like a rim shot. That's just like an upfront, look, it's a cashmere snare then. Just a tiny little clap. And there's a kind of character snare, which sounds, kind of... Oh, it's from TLC Creep, Untouchables Instrumental, which is the Alex Reese Pulp Fiction break. So we've layered up 4 snares of all different types, but they're working in harmony together. And I've EQ'd I've added 1 dB of top end. Fascinating. Let's listen to how they sound with the kick. So, it's solid. It's a little bit bouncy. Oh, look, what's this? Yes, it's Hot Pants. I can't resist it. I think I've got a problem. And this, we have some Shaper Box. Again, taking out the snare to have our one-shot snare punch through. Then we got some soothe too, because hot pants can sound rough. Then transient shaper and EQ. You've seen these things all before on various other videos. Then what have we got? Versatile extension, it looks like. Yes, it is. Again, just... what am I doing with the utility here? Oh, I guess I'm mono. Yeah, I'm moving it to the left and then monoizing it. So I either wanted more or less of the shaker in there. And then transient shaper, pro Q, blah, blah, blah. So let's have a listen to these breaks all together. So the hot pants and the versatile extension are really just giving that kind of like top end rushiness. And like I said, I didn't want that much ravey rushiness in here. So they're pretty quiet. And it's really Sing a Simple Song that's doing the work. Let's bring in the one-shots. And then what have we got here? This is going to be a close hat, I guess. I mean, nothing too interesting here. I've got a bit of soothe on there. And then rides. Let's have a listen to these rides, why don't we? Okay, so we're kind of emphasizing the 2 and the 4 with velocity here. Oh no, well actually just de-emphasizing every other 8th note, I guess, or whatever. And that makes it sound quite natural and nice, I suppose. So if we were just to listen to the one-shots on their own, you know, this is pretty solid even without the breaks. But it just doesn't sound very, you know, rolling and funky, and that's what the breaks do. And that's the beat. And, you know, I would have spent a lot of time just, you know, tweaking little things and just trying to get it sounding nice. Because I tell you what, drum and bass, if your beat sounds nice, that's a real help. So before we go on to the bass, let's have a look at the music. So I've got a sample called Soul Loop here. Which, I mean, I probably did the chords first. But let's just have a look at Soul Loop first. Let's see what happens. There's a little bit of clickiness there. I haven't even gone in and done any fades. I'm a naughty boy. And this is a splice sample. So look, I'm really letting my dirty laundry hang out all over the place here. And it's just cut up a bit. There's some filters I've bypassed. And then it's high passed, delayed. Was this reverb? Yes, it is. EQ, imager, and then an automated low pass filter. So really, that's just a sample doing the work here. And then in this track, I've got 2 different electric pianos. I've got the first one. This is kind of a little bit tremolo-y. And I've got no tremolo effect on this. That must be coming off the original Triton patch. Super Stereo EP. Ain't that sounding lovely? And so this is just like 3 bars of the kind of like the main chord, and then it switches up. Now we have a different EP it switches up to. This is Wah EP, and I believe this is... That's right, it's Psycho EP, a real classic off the 1080 plugin. Beautiful. Nookie, DJ Pulse, they've all used it. You better believe it's good enough for me. Then what, low pad? It was kind of breathy. Where is this from? Oh, wow. Native Instruments massive. I don't know why the interface is appearing so big. In Complete Control. I mean, maybe I used some tags in Complete Control to find this. I certainly don't really... Groove Pads doesn't ring a giant bell with me or anything. Vox Pads. Let's have a little tink with this. What have we got? Oh, so this is just spaced Vox with all of the tone switches turned off apart from one. Let's listen. The classic sound of spaced Vox. So because only one voice is active, one of the tones is active, it's just a single pitch, so it's not doing any crazy fifths or anything. Let's bring in some more of this stuff. Let's listen to these sounds. So literally, it's just a couple of chords, a bass and a melody, but because all the sounds are so nice, it sounds good without me really doing too much work. Let's have this with the sample as well. Little tinkly Rhodes and lovely guitar coming from that sample. What else have we got in the mix here? Later we come into some brass BP, whatever that means. BP means bandpass filter. So what I've done here is I've used Live's auto filter in bandpass mode, and I've got the LFO modulating the filter cutoff frequency. So you get a kind of, in fact, okay, I'll play it without that and you can hear how it sounds. So that's just a pretty standard brass sample or whatever, but with the modulated bandpass filter, it gives it another dimension of movement, and yet another dimension of movement is added with the chorus ensemble effect, just giving it chorus, then delay, then what I imagine is reverb. Yeah, it is. So that sounds nice. Let's listen to this bit. Yeah, funky. Piano chord. This is going to be a splice sample, surely. Yes, I think so. Or maybe, I'm not sure. It's just a G minor piano chords. I'm not even going to bother looking at it. Oh, this is cool. So legato string. So this is a splice sample. But if you've been producing for a while, you probably know it's hard to get a legato string from a virtual instrument. So here, I've just used a sample, and as you can see, I've done a lot of chopping and mucking about with it to make it sound nice. So let's listen. So I've just extended that end out here with a bunch of just hastily done rough sounding chops. But look, they sound rough when we listen to them like this, but they don't sound rough in the mix. So please forgive me. You see, that sounds like a living nightmare on its own. But if we listen to the full mix, it sounds nice, even if I do say so myself. Okay, risers. These are in the music folder rather than the FX folder for some reason. I've been asleep on the job. Let's listen. Oh. Well, it's a wind chime, so whatever. This is off some sample CD. You can tell by the name of the file, but it sounds real nice. Chaka Git. This is presumably going to be a wah-wah style funk guitar. Ah, yes. A sample that has been used on loads of tunes. Aqua Sky, for example. I believe. What else? Wah guitar. Yeah, another sample CD. Biz. You know, just a classic kind of, you know, good-looking style funky guitar sample. Oh, no, there we have moody guitar. I mean, I don't really get that moody. So how moody is this guitar? Well, it is actually quite moody. Let's check this one out. So I guess these are all different parts of yeah. A sample from Splice, no doubt. Okay, Syntica. This is UVI Workstation? Oh, okay, so this is a Synth Anthology 4. And this is just a, you know, really percussive synth sample to give stuff more energy. Let's see if we can even hear it in the mix. Well, it's subtle. Never let it be said that I don't put attention to detail in somewhere. Organ here. This is going to be a sample, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, it's very, very lovely. It's okay to use samples if they sound good. That's really the golden rule. There we have some piano licks. Lovely jazziness. God, that sounds really terrible. I mean, look at this. This should not be allowed. I should be in producer prison for this with no hope of parole. But hey, look, sometimes life is just too short. Okay, and that's kind of the music stuff, really. Yeah, that's the music stuff. Let's see what else we've got in here. FX, City Atmos. Let's see if this actually is a City Atmos. Oh, Rainy City. Sounds like it. Yeah, lovely stuff. And then we have a spoken word sample. Now, this is taken from a movie by a director. I think it's a writer-director who's kind of renowned for his kind of intriguing, stilted performances that he gets from his cast or whatever, and from his scripts or whatever. And when I listened to this film, I was like, this sounds kind of weird, but I wonder if it would make a cool sample. So let's have a listen to this.
I would like to see how you operate.
Is that the idea? You want to see how a true bad man plies his trade?
Yes.
All right.
Get to see how a true bad man plies his trade. So I thought that was a cool little sample that fitted in with the kind of jazzy vibe I was going for. I mean, you know, sometimes I'll try and start with a vocal sample and try and weave music around it. Generally, that does not work very well. Generally, I find it's better to guess I'll go first and then put the ear candy in afterwards. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned that before. So we've got a jazzy vibe going. Then we've got some more sounds. What's here? Is this going to be a riser? Just some real nondescript white noise coming out. Purity. Star Wash. What's this? Oh, it's Massive X. Ooh, lovely riser from Massive X. Oh, and then a bit of a sample.
Let the music ride.
What a nice vocal sample. That is sounding sick. Beltree, yet another Beltree. That, I'm pretty sure that's very similar to the other one. Whatever. Wash transition. This is going to be exciting. Yeah, nothing too mad, but, you know, it sounds nice. Then DnB FX1. I've used this in loads of tunes. I've probably filtered it. Yes, I have. It's just a boom. I mean, that's pretty epic on its own, but it's, you know, it's going to be pretty low in the mix. So it's not going to be too overpowering. Yeah, just a bit of subliminal stuff that here. Now, what have we got? Lex, R&B 2. Chimes in my tea? It's the Beltree that goes down. Wow, I was really feeling the Beltrees when I made this. Star Wash only happens once in the tune. Is it going to be a white noise sweep? Oh, well, there's some interest there. It's not just white noise. Oh, it goes up and down. God, the unbridled creativity is astounding. Yet more white noise. Wow, this is really from my white noise era. Then bongo loop. Now, let's have a listen. Now, this sounds alright or whatever, and you'll notice there's some fades there. In the original pre-master I sent, I hadn't faded this, and there was some little clicks in it I couldn't hear. But Paul SG picked them out, thank goodness, with his golden ears. So I changed that, so, you know. But hey, I'm getting on a bit, so give me a break. But yeah, it sounds nice, and thank you, Paul, for spotting my lack of attention to detail there. Snare roll. Is this going to be a cheeky little 808? I fear it might be. It's just a little 808 with a pitch bend on it, you know, a vaguely trap style. Sounds cool. Or is this going to be a Sennheiser reverse crash? Yep. And then it goes into a forward crash. Lovely. Lovely stuff. Femme Vox. Let's see what this lady is singing about. Just a real short little snippet with some delay on it to make it sound nice. Then we've got flexor. Oh, this is cool. So this... Okay, so we have here a flexor tone, right? With some delay on it, sounding cool. Then we have Latin Cascade, a fill I made that I've used a bunch of tunes. Okay, right. So we've got that. We've got the flex tone. And then I think, okay, there'll be bits where these interplay with the 808 snare. So let's play these all together. So they kind of create a little cool, little catchy sequence together, which might not sound like much to say, but I think it sounds really nice in the context of the tune. So, you know, it's working nicely together. It's sounding kind of slick or whatever. You know, you can hear influence there from the liquid funk days of Fabio and the early Hospital record stuff. So yeah, those are all the elements. So let's quickly run through the arrangement, because this changes up a little bit. Yeah, because look, we've got this EP section where things change. So let's run through. Okay, beats, chords. The sample comes in. Breakdown with these musical elements. We have the swooshes moving things along. The guitar from this sample is keeping a kind of element, a rhythmic element there. And these
Let the music ride.
things are building stuff in. And then we're grooving. The sample's actually gone out because the brass is coming in and then they both come in. And then this Vox pad lifts us up again. And then we get rid of a bunch of that, and then it's back to, well, the introduction of these piano chords. And this string. Sounding nice. And then, oh, the darkness, just a little bit of spice in the sugar there. You know, it's all about the light and shade, isn't it? And then there's no light or shade. It's just drums and bass. And then we have our breakdown. Let's listen to breakdown because I like this.
I would like to see how you operate.
Is that the idea? You want to see how a true bad man plies his trade?
Yes.
All right.
Let the music ride.
Okay, so here we have a bit where I've got the organ hit and the piano licks, but I'm using a bit more of the samples. So I think this is probably something we should have a look at. So let's play this piano and organ. Just nice and jazzy. Yeah, just cutting up the samples, and we've got just like a single chord over them. Let's put in the bass as well. Oh, the bass. We should probably have a look at the bass. Okay, let's listen to this and then look at the bass. I mean, some rough chopping, but it all works together pretty nicely. And this would have just been the result of a lot of mucking about and trial and error, probably, or whatever. But, you know, assisted by having some lovely samples there. So the bass. What is the bass body? Let's listen. I mean, this is sounding really... Okay, so this is from Native Instruments Sway, which I didn't even really realise did bass sounds. Okay, and this has been low passed. But, you know, we're only smoothing out a little. So, yeah, I probably found this using, like, search tools in complete control because this is not a sample that rings a bell. And like I said, I didn't even realise that Sway had bass sounds in it. But that's providing a lovely, solid, smooth body to the bass. And then the bass top, which I think I did first, and then, like, found a foundation for it with the other sound. So we've got a low pass filter here, which has got an envelope on it, which is giving a bit of a wah. But we've also got like a high pass filter, which is taking out the lows, which are then replaced by the bass body. All that other stuff is not active. And this is Jazz Bass DI Full from Plug Sound Pro, which is a classic rompler from back in the day. But the sounds still sound great. And, you know, it's giving us a real characteristic bass sound. And they sound nice together. So that's cool, man. And then and then it goes. So we have this. You know, something I'll often do is in the second drop, I'll switch things up a little bit so it's not identical to the first drop or whatever. We just get a little different bit of flavour. And then I'll go back into the familiar sort of like thing we've already had before. And a bit of different bass line here. Ba-ba-da-ba. The legato strings are back in full effect. And then we're winding down to the end. And it only really in the outro is that synth thing really obvious. But you know, it keeps things ticking over. So there we go. That's Grifters, and I'm pretty proud of this one. It sounded nice and polished and everything. I mean, I think I was like when I got inspired to make this, I was listening to a lot of Logical Progression 2, which you can hear in full on SoundCloud. And I think it's The Breeze by Nookie on there, which kind of like inspired me to try this kind of vibe. And I think that's like a tune that is like as yet unreleased in unmixed form or whatever. So yeah, that's a cool little tune to check out if you're into that sort of thing. Okay, so let's take a look at the other track on this release, which is entitled A Mode of Expression. So this is a bit more like a kind of atmospheric kind of vibe. And let's start with the main element in this tune, which I really feel like is this art pattern. What's this coming out of? Pigments. I use a lot of presets off Pigments. It's good. Dubstab. So is this going to be like some kind of like dub techno style stab? Let's have a listen. So it's a stab with a little bit of portamento glide on there. Let's have a look at the MIDI. I mean, it's only 2 bars. But this really kicked off the vibe for the whole thing. Autopan moving it around. Crystallizer. Don't often use that for some, you know. Yeah, all right, Soundtoys. I've got Space Blender or whatever it's called. I get all my news from Soundtoys plugins, which means I'm kind of like poorly informed about the state of the world. Now look, I've got Shaperbox here, halfway through the plugin chain. Now, Shaperbox and Ableton Live's plugin delay conversation don't get on. So, if I really wanted this to be like synced all nicely, it would have been a terrible idea. But I guess I don't care about the syncing that much. I mean, this seems basically random. So this is just some random low-pass filtering, basically. And then we have an effect track. No news today. Well, this is just a doubler. So that's just going to, like, chorus and stereoize it a bit, I suppose. Then all kinds of boring stuff. Loads of stuff's been bypassed. As you can tell, I muck about a lot when I make my tunes. So this is nice. And then we've got a slow motion pad, which I've bounced from something. No idea where this comes from. Let's listen to some Glass Voices, though. Well, that's not Glass Voices. That's Spaced Vox again. I think I made a video the other month saying I never use Spaced Vox in tunes. Clearly, that's a lie. What's this X5080 bounce doing? It's just like a sweep. Let's listen to all these pads together. Because if there's one thing that's better than an atmospheric DnB pad, it's 3 atmospheric DnB pads. And then we've got a little, another little splice thing here. Let's see what this does. I mean, there's loads going on in here. But you can't really accuse me of basing the tune around this sample because it only appears like in this kind of pre-breakdown bit, I guess. What is actually happening here? Yeah. Isn't that sounding nice, though? And look, we've got a little vocal sample here from someone whose voice you might recognize.
It's a mode of expression to communicate certain points of views and certain emotions and certain things that you've experienced and want to share.
So we have a little bit of spin delay on the end there, and so it just like this bit rings out.
And want to share.
It's a mode of expression tone. Okay, what else is going on here? Let's get rid of that automation. There's going to be some more music stuff, I'm sure. Yeah, let's have a look at this sweep. Quiet. What is this? Oh, that sounds nice. Is it going to be... Oh, it's ultra analog. Fair play. Oh, that's nice. I mean, picking sounds that sound good in the genre you're making, it works pretty well, basically. I mean, maybe I tweaked that sound. Oh, and then we have some brass. Now, look, this is coming out the Triton, I guess. You know, that is just a little, you know, synthy, brass sounds, sax ensemble it is. But because it's not like, because it's kind of like buried in the mix, it's not like super obvious it's synthy. Then what have we got here? What's this? Is it going to be a brass sample? Yes. Kind of breathy, pretty nice. Tenor sax short phrase. Oh, yeah. You know, that's real. Real jazzy vibes. And then what is this guitar? It's a wah guitar. So, you know... I'm using a lot of the same types of sound. Okay, I don't think there's anything on this audio track. Yet another pad. God, the clicking like there's no tomorrow. I mean, these, when you listen to these tracks, they sound, I feel like they sound relatively slick, but when you dive under the surface, it's all going crazy. And then what's this? Oh, this is going to be a Yamaha TG500 sample. Oh, yeah. Just a chord sampled off a sound module with some filtering and reverb. Very nice. Yet another pad. Wow. Okay, what's this? Oh, I've used this loads. That's a pad off that Nookie pack. I'm sure I've used this loads and loads. I mean, at least it's not quite so obvious in this one. Then what else? Some Vox. Oh, yeah, lovely. Yeah, that's nice. And another Vox. Yeah, that's cool. I like the sounds of those. Let's look at some effects. Cymbal crash. And another cymbal crash. Layering cymbal crashes. I mean, this is really next level production we're looking at here. What's this? Sweeping sort of thing? Ooh, that's a nice sound. Is that a... Yeah, it's just a effect off the Triton. Oh, I like this ring mod stuff. I love a ring mod sweep. Really gives me the 97 logical progression vibes. So what about this? Just a riser off complete control. That's the same sound, doing something slightly different. And then... Okay, so this is a fill. Just made a little fill there. Oh, well, have I used an OM-Unit sample here? Yes, I have. Well, it was nothing too mental there, but useful. Let's listen to what they sound like together. Yeah, a little bit of sci-fi vibes. Look, I guess we better look at the drum and the bassing. This is this drum and bass. Let's just go through this in any old order. Hats. And then look, we've got another snare group thing here. This isn't doing anything. Okay, there we go. So, again, rim shot. Why is this... It's being funny. I don't know why. Is that Kashmir's not even playing? Snare. Another rim shot. I'm not sure if that Kashmir is supposed to be on or off. Oh, it is. No, it is supposed to be off. Whatever. Kick. Nice and solid. Is that even the same kick sample as the other one? Oh, God. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay, what's this? Okay, now this is going to be that Untouchables remix of Creep. So this is the original source of the Pulp Fiction break. But, you know, the actual break off, you know, Pulp Fiction and the Flow remix, it's got some kind of like modulation effects on there and some kind of like extra highs added. So, you know, I wanted this one off the original to get a nice clean sound. And then look, it's a bit of Horizons. Real high pass. Oh, okay. And this is going to be... This is that break from that... Oh, it's like a freestyle tune. Is it Voice? Something in my heart or my arms or something? Well, basically, that was sampled for LTJ Bookham Orchestral Jam or whatever. So it's basically the Orchestral Jam break beat. And altogether, they sound like this. And then with the one-shots sounding nice. Later, we get some percussion. Oh, it's just rides, actually. And then some MJ... What's his name? Jefferson. Why can't I remember? Who's that house guy? Look, I'm going to have to look on my phone. This is really shocking I can't remember this because I've just done another video that has this guy's samples in. Marshall Jefferson. Marshall, I couldn't remember. Okay. Marshall Jefferson bongos, mate. Yeah. Rolling. And then we've got some bass from Serum. So unlike the other track, this is just going to be Tim Mello 808. So look. It's Serum dropping a sign sub. And we've got kind of a bossery LTJ Bookham-y bass line there. Yeah. Rhythmical. So there we go. And I think that's everything in the song. I mean, we'll have a super quick look at the arrangement. Yeah. DJ friendly intro. Boom. Pads coming in. You know you're in for an atmospheric time. Oh. Then some real high strings there, courtesy of this slow motion pad, and the ARP coming in. So the musical ideas are getting introduced. Oh, and then we're dropping on bar 49. And then some other synths come in to make things more atmospheric. It's that lovely ultra analog sound. And then something must have happened on this 16. Oh yeah, okay, but then the high strings come back in. Marshall Jefferson bongoing for all he's worth. Breakdown. Let's hear the vocal, I guess. Yeah, logical progression in full effects.
It's a mode of expression to communicate certain points of views and certain emotions and certain things that you've experienced and want to share.
So we go into this other pad, like a more vocal pad section here, with that Yamaha. And it's just rolling. The ARP returns, as does the string. Bongo time. Bongo jockey. And then some beats on the end. So look. That is some jazzy, jazz steppy drum and bass. If you like what you heard, check out the release. Check out Jazzsticks because it's a sick label. Big up everybody still making jazzy drum and bass. I love and respect all of you. In the meantime, look after yourselves, people. And yeah, I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.